Welcome to Human versus AI. With AI making news every day, taking over manual labour, and doling out diagnosis with more precision than doctors, machines are already stiff competition for man. Soon, we are told, they will have consciousness, humour, and emotion up their steel-clad sleeve. Written by me, Michael Parker, a fallible human without AI augmentation, but with the help of robotics engineering student Delilah Haig, Human versus AI explores in essay form the human traits we thought were ours alone. In this episode, we look at doubt. In 1950, Bertrand Russell was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. It was in recognition of his writings that championed freedom of thought. He said, "The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, but wiser people are so full of doubts." No character in literature is more torn by doubt than Hamlet. Once the ghost of his dead father tells him he was murdered by his uncle, he is consumed by doubt. Who to trust, dead father or mother and uncle? Is Claudius innocent or guilty? Is life worse than death? To be or not to be, that is the question. An equally iconic portrayal of doubt is Caravaggio's masterpiece, The Incredulity of St. Thomas, depicting doubting Thomas, who said, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, I will not believe." Jesus' response, "Stop doubting and believe. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed." It seems Thomas's belief was only deepened once he had seen with his own eyes the evidence. The philosophy of doubt was first explored in ancient Greece. Aporia was a rhetorical term for the expression of doubt, often posed as a question. In Latin, the expressive dubitatio translates as wavering in opinion. Socrates and Plato offered explanations, but it was Aristotle's scientific method which prevailed, still influencing thinking today. He valued doubt over certainty. It was the science revolution of the 1600s and the ideas of men like Isaac Newton that led to the Age of Enlightenment. However, skepticism itself was a key component of the Enlightenment. Tennyson is a great example of a doubter, as he was troubled by the conflict of scientific knowledge and religious faith. In his famous In Memoriam, he wrote, "There lives more faith in honest doubt, believe me, than in half the creeds." Increasingly, traditional religious beliefs were being challenged, not least by Darwin's theory of evolution. The poet Emily Dickinson was among those who found her faith under attack and wrote movingly of her doubts. She termed them her smart miseries. The remarkable technological advances last century raised still more doubt. Economist Galbraith wrote back in 1977 that we live in the age of uncertainty. We are still in it, but challenged now by the new uncertainties of pandemics, climate change, and of course, AI. But here we can take some reassurance that the philosophy of science, being driven by doubt, is at work. In the words of Isaac Asimov, the scientific method regularly quantifies doubt and uses it to determine whether further research is needed. Doubt is now being engineered into the most cutting-edge AI algorithms to expand their learning capabilities. If an AI knows how uncertain it is, then it is already one step ahead of humans, as it can handle the unpredictable, random nature of the real world, with the knowledge that decisions are rarely black and white, but rather shades of grey. A good example would be if an autonomous vehicle saw an obstacle and was not wholly sure whether it was a bag on the road or a human, an inkling of uncertainty would be necessary, lest a catastrophe was caused by the inability to have doubt and change decisions. We will often have doubt as to how AI will react in unpredictable scenarios, and just like humans, AI often gets things wrong. We may doubt AI less when it is more transparent and less like a mysterious box. AI scientists, however, have more serious doubts. The situation faced is much like that of climate change. Climate scientists have long expressed their serious doubts about the planet withstanding the changes brought about by human activity. For years, the urgings of Greta Thunberg and others to listen to the science were ignored, falling on deaf ears. In the world of AI, scientists have for years been expressing their doubts about the risks. Last year only, in an open letter to the public, hundreds of top scientists and researchers, including the CEOs of DeepMind and OpenAI, put their doubts in unmistakable terms. They said, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. CNN, covering the story, commented that the dire message these experts are desperately trying to send the public isn't cutting through the noise of everyday life. The doubts are largely ignored. Dan Hendricks, the executive director of the Center for AI Safety, that issued this letter, called the situation reminiscent of atomic scientists issuing warnings about the very technologies they've created. As Robert Oppenheimer noted, we knew the world would not be the same. As many of us saw in the movie, Oppenheimer had doubts. Thanks for listening. In all, there are 14 episodes available, each covering a human trait now being usurped by AI. Human versus AI. How will it end up?